Hey guys, this is Abdullah, and in this video I'm going to be unboxing the newly released Nokia G10 and give you a quick tour about all the specifications, how it feels in the hand, and its camera interface. Of course, I'm going to be comparing it to some of its siblings in terms of size as well. So let's get straight into it. Before we do that, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying my content. It helps me grow. Thank you. So, as you can see, the box is pretty simple, and it's actually smaller than some of the newer boxes that we've been seeing recently. It just has very basic specifications on the back, like the battery, the camera, and so on. And of course, this is an Android One device. The funny thing is, we've been talking about this, but it kind of reminds us of some of the older Nokia boxes, like the Nokia N9 here. I know, look at how small this old box is, but yeah, same idea. It's quite a compact box. So let's look inside the box. You have the phone, as you'd expect, and based on popular demand, I actually went and got the Night edition, which is the dark blue edition. Very small SIM removal kit. All the catalogs and brochures. Standard TPU silicone case. 10-watt charging brick. Earphones that feel suitable for the price of this thing. USB-C cable for charging. And that's pretty much for what's inside the box. So this is the Nokia G10 in its full glory, in this blue/night color. So, what do you guys think about the color? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, my first impression of just holding this phone is that, as you'd expect, it actually feels really solid. There is a nice heft to it, and I think it has something to do with the fact that it has a quite large 5050 mAh battery capacity. In terms of in-hand feel, it feels very similar to the Nokia 3.4 in terms of materials and the Nokia 5.4. So you have a plastic frame all around the edges of the phone. The plastic frame feels quite thick as well, so that enhances the in-hand feel. Let's get rid of the screen protector. Oh, interesting enough, the phone actually comes with a screen protector installed on by default, so that's quite nice. Very nice and solid in the hand. This is exactly the type of phone I wouldn't be worried about dropping. It just feels like it can take a drop or two. So let's quickly go through some of the specs. This phone has a 6.52-inch HD+ IPS LCD display. There is an 8-megapixel front-facing camera in the water drop notch. It's running on the MediaTek Helio G25 processor, and it comes with either 3 gigs of RAM or 4 gigs of RAM. And for storage, you can also get it in either 32 gigs of storage or 64 gigs of built-in storage. The rear houses 3 cameras, so there is a 13-megapixel main camera, a 2-megapixel macro camera, and a 2-megapixel depth sensor, as well as LED flash. The whole phone is made out of plastic, so you have a thick plastic rim all around the edges of the phone, and a plastic back, which has a slightly textured finish, similar to the one found on the Nokia 3.4. And this backplate also houses a massive 5050 mAh battery capacity, which is probably one of the biggest selling points of this device. There is a side-mounted fingerprint scanner right below the volume rocker buttons. The other side houses a Google Assistant button, as well as a dual SIM card slot, so you can fit in 2 SIM cards as well as an SD slot. On the top there is a 3.5mm headphone jack, as well as a hole for the speaker. The bottom houses another microphone hole, a USB-C charging port, and a bottom firing speaker. So how does it feel in the hand? Well, as you'd expect, it feels quite solid. Typical of a Nokia, really. The plastic frame on the edges feels quite thick. The back doesn't carry a lot of fingerprints, which is nice. And the phone feels quite hefty because it is. It weighs about 194 grams. This is exactly the type of phone that I think could withstand a drop or two, really. As for the operating system, this phone is a part of the Android One program and it comes out of the box with Android 11. As for the pre-installed apps, other than the My Phone app and the camera app, Nokia Mobile's contribution really is very minimal. And the phone completely depends on all Google services for the phone, messaging, the web browser, and so on. As you can see, there are barely any apps that come pre-installed on this unit. Here I have Netflix and Amazon Shopping, and luckily both of them can be removed. So how does the G10 compare to some of its Nokia siblings in size? Let's find out. So this is the G10 compared to the Nokia 3.4, which it shares a lot of components with. This is it next to the 5.3, and again, the resemblance is uncanny. Even in terms of dimensions, they're very close. And finally, this is how it is compared to the newly released X20. As you can see, it's a bit smaller in almost every dimension. Let's quickly look at the camera interface. As you can see, the options are quite limited, so you're either limited to 1080p, 30 frames, or 720p. The front camera only has 1080p. You can enable or disable HDR. There is haptic feedback in the camera. Other than that, there's portrait mode as well that makes use of the 2 megapixel depth sensor on the back, and there is also night mode for low light situations. The other two additional options are panorama images and time-lapse. Anyways, from my very brief experience using the phone, it feels snappy enough. I'm not going to beat any world records when it comes to speed. This is more of a powerhouse for people who want a long-lasting battery life, although when it comes to the battery, the charging speed is limited to 10 watts, so do keep that in mind. So yeah, this is definitely not a phone for techies. It's a phone for people who want something practical, that would do a decent job with day-to-day tasks, that has a very minimal user experience, excellent battery life, built quite well and feels nice in the hand and quite sturdy. So for the review of this phone, I want to do it a bit differently. Obviously there aren't a lot of cool aspects to talk about this phone, so let's make it more of a Q&A. If you're interested in buying this phone or want to know something about it, ask in the comments section down below, and I'm going to answer all of your questions in a video that will be a review, sort of a review done by you. So all the aspects that you care about, I'll try and answer in the comment section down below. Anyways, that's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.